All right, hello there, ChickChat. We're back with Love is Blind. We're mainly going to talk about the reunion because the weddings is a whole different ordeal, but honestly, it's pretty much what we thought was going to happen anyways, or at least me for sure. I didn't think there was going to be a wedding this year. Although I've said this a couple times where I didn't think there was going to that anyone should get married. But I'm glad this time they listened to me.
That is very true. I mean, I know that we thought maybe Allie and Anton might just be crazy enough to get married because usually there's at least somebody who's, kind of psychotic. But yeah, I think I think this was the best outcome available. And I know that we've been a little bit bummed out and disappointed because this show is supposed to be about love and finding love in this particular way. But I feel like all in all, I did enjoy watching this season. It was a lot messier than normal, but I don't know. I liked it. I was cool with it.
I like the messiness.
It doesn't have the big thing it used to have.
Right. I like the messiness, and I'm fine with that. Like, if we're gonna have a weird, messy season, that's fine. But let's actually ask them real questions at the reunion. Like, let's keep that same energy, fam. This reunion was such a letdown to me. I mean, honestly, the Lachey's have been lacking in the reunions for a long time, but I just couldn't handle this reunion. It was just so much of a waste of my time between the basketball, which was like, who is a basketball player? I mean, they didn't even really show us them playing that much basketball in the pods. They just threw this.
Yeah, apparently Casey is a basketball player, which
I guess.
Okay. But sure. I mean, we should have known when they opened it up with a performance because at least usually they leave the performances until the middle when they need to cover some time.
Or the end.
My thing is, it's just like, this is a Netflix show. You guys are allowed to choose whatever timeline you want. It can be a 3-hour show. It can be a 30-minute show. It is literally up to you as production. And so why are we filling this with fluff? We don't need commercial breaks. We can press pause and go to the bathroom and get our snacks and whatever. Why are we putting this kind of fluff in here? Because it is incensing how angry it makes, I know you and also me,
everyone,
to see this kind of BS. Like, I get that there should be lighthearted moments, but there are lighthearted moments in the show that they could have talked about in the reunion to keep things light or to break things up. We don't need an NBA basketball player that nobody who watches Love is Blind even knows exists to come and help two people who didn't get married and, again, could care less about in the next 3 months of our lives to play basketball in front of us. What a waste of my time. How disrespectful.
It was completely pointless. And I feel disrespected. I feel Netflix owes me a few dollars back on that monthly subscription for this because I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm used to them kind of not asking a lot of tough questions, but this was almost couple after couple of not hard questions. I mean, the best we got was between Sparkle, Megan, and Jordan. Like, that was probably the best section of getting some kind of answers or just something in general, just anything. And I know.
Well, and if you notice, go ahead. Oh, okay. If you notice, like, these girls that came afterwards, these two and Casey, they did not come during Sparkle, Megan's and what's his name, Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan.
They did not come during their segment. They had the original cast of couples on during the first segment when they went over Megan and Jordan's relationship. And I feel like these 3 girls, although I'm happy that they showed up, came to bring the drama. And it's like, Jordan and Megan are the only ones who didn't go on to date other people in the cast. So it's like, it's almost like they were able to get this full, closure.
Sparkle Megan did go on dates with one dude, and she also apparently did go on a dinner date with Blake as well. So
yeah, she circled back to every single one of them just to double check. That is true. But it seems like things got messier with the other cast. But it just seems like even in their case, I just feel like the other girls being present made it more of a group talk in all the other couples than Megan and Jordan's initial review of
Yeah.
everything. Like they were able to get sort of a beginning, middle, and end.
I definitely think they all could have been brought in later, to be honest. And honestly, I don't know why Kate was there to begin with. Her story was just in the pods. It wasn't really that relevant to me. In fact, they focused so much on her and Nick for some reason during their segment
Yeah.
that Annie got completely bypassed. And I don't know if it's because this girl is wasted or what is wrong with her, but we didn't ask her a single tough question. We did not talk about her meltdown at the counter or in Mexico or anything. Like the way that she just showed up just to show off her outfit. It literally had nothing, like no hard questions for this girl. We find out, like there's more that come from the reality T people, you know, like about her felonies, about her weirdly like stalking people or whatever the case was with her, like the things with her ex-boyfriend. We didn't get a single hard question from the Lachey's, and I'm flat out sick of them. Give me Andy Cohen, give me anyone else. Get rid of these people. They want to act surprised when somebody announces that they're pregnant, just to be like, oh, but we have photos. Like, I'm just sick of the fakeness of these people. I can't do it anymore.
Right. I have kind of come to expect this at the reunions, and so I just don't have high expectations for it.
But
so
it's getting worse. That's what
It is getting worse. It's
worse.
Definitely getting worse. I definitely expected this, so I was able to enjoy it a little bit more, but I agree about the Annie thing. My suspicion is that we all saw what she looked like in that reunion. There was nothing going on between that woman's eyes. I think the producers knew full well that this woman was completely incapable of handling more than breathing and sitting. And I think they just glazed over her on purpose. And I'm not saying that that's what we as the audience deserved, but I don't know. This could have gone on for 3 hours if they would have asked Annie to open her mouth.
Yeah, it's just mind-blowing to me that almost all of the questions that I would have wanted to ask these people about, not a single one of them was asked. Not a single one of them was even hinted at. Instead, they gave me a bunch of fluff. They were maybe the hardest on Joe and his weird cowboy boots, but everyone else got an easy pass. And I mean, so did Joe, honestly. But Joe was at least entertaining to me. The way that this man word salads, and he's a star. I mean, the way he word salads and comes up with bull crap on the spot, like he's a star. He is a star.
Yeah,
I'm glad he moved to Denver just to do this.
And you know, I kind of hate to love Joe too, because I know there's kind of these dueling ideas about Love is Blind, that, you know, it's supposed to be this show that is for genuine people that are looking for connections, that are ready to get married and want to see what happens. And then it's also a reality show that people want to be entertained by. And I know that Anne and I have this ongoing conversation of like, why are they putting these people on the show that are not ready to get married? And yet the person who is least ready to get married on this season, I guess, except for Edmund, he's probably the very least ready. But the person after that who's the least ready is probably Joe, and we are the most entertained by him and his personality. So it, you know, it kind of goes again, like there's dueling things that we're looking for. And you know, when you think this through, if you put someone like Joe on the show, I'm entertained by him, you're entertained by him, but now whoever chooses him is like royally screwed, right? And so, I mean, it is kind of unfair to put people like this on the show if she had an anticipation of truly getting married and finding her person, and then you end up with Joe, right? That's terrible, but it is entertaining. It is, he is great to watch, and I hope he's on my TV more and more, because boy, do I like watching him make a mess of his life. And so does Jordan. I mean, Jordan could not get enough of that man sitting next to him. He was just like dying.
He was me. He was everyone at home.
We were all him. Yeah. Just cackling. Every time I laughed, Jordan was laughing. And then when they'd call him out, he'd be like, I don't know, I have ADHD.
Me too. I understood. That probably would have been my response as well, because I'm not going to get into it, but not trying to be messy myself, but this is quite entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was thoroughly entertained by that man. He probably had shot his shot with every girl open to it on this season and others because now he has a girlfriend who's not on the cast. So I think we should have given him his own show.
Joe, of course. Honestly,
The
Joe
Joe
was
Show.
the most entertaining to me. I mean, even throughout the season, I just couldn't stay mad at him. He's like one of those people where it's like, I know what he's doing is stupid or wrong or whatever, but I couldn't stay mad at him because at least he was funny. At least he was
Yeah.
honest. I mean, when he asked her, like, I don't know if you've ever woken up before, like, lines like that are Oscar worthy in this Netflix world.
Have you ever woken up before?
I don't know if you've ever woken up before. Not my effing guy. Like his Nick rant. That's the one thing I was happy that we touched on was his Nick rant because we didn't. Although I wish Joe would have said more about it, but Nick was just like, you know what? I just texted him right away and I was like, we're good. And I'm like, interesting. Because Joe was just sitting there kind of cackling about it, like. That's what I thought.
I think Nick is just the saddest, sorriest version of a man that I have come across in a very, very long time. I think like you need to have some backbone. And if you have things to say, you know, that are apologetic, he has plenty to apologize for. But he just came across so rehearsed all of the time. And I think it's great for you to have a well thought out thing, you know, especially when you're trying to be serious about an apology. You should come across like you've thought about it, you know, before. But it doesn't come across as authentic. Like there's no emotion behind it. There's no.
No, I mean, it was definitely
I'm not
rehearsed.
surprised that him and Annie connected. There's nothing behind either one of their eyes now that I think about it.
You know, I'm not surprised that's rehearsed, but at the same time, if I knew what I was walking into, I might rehearse it a little bit too, just to make sure that I'm saying things maybe a little bit better. But to be honest, like I really think, hold on a second. I really think that he was too focused on with this like weird apology thing. Like, yeah, apologize, whatever, let's move on. Like, I don't understand why this Kate thing was drawn out so much. In fact, I had more questions for him about him leaving Annie because, I mean, I would have been done too with that girl blabbering all the time about, oh, I love you so much. You don't even like me. Like, all, like, just the nonsense. And I wanted to hear more about that than I did about Kate. Like, I wish that woman wasn't even there. I don't know why she was there. She's not even like a Sarah Ann side girl, like where she actually affected the outcome of anything. She just was left in the pods and they should have left her there. Sure, bring her to the cast party and then leave her there.
I think they wanted to see if she had any tea about Joe and his current girlfriend because she's kind of the in-between. And she didn't. Yeah, she did not deliver. She did not serve. Nothing came from her. So I agree. I have seen her on quite a few podcasts and quite a few interviews, and I was surprised to see her on those too. So I'm like, I don't know if there are people out there that like her a lot and I just don't get it or what. But yeah, we never saw much of her.
It must be nice to not have to embarrass yourself at all and do the absolute minimum and still get just as much as everybody else who actually put themselves out there.
Yeah. Good for her.
Well, shoot.
Yeah.
Someone said, well,
I mean,
in blue, hey, in blue. And blue says we'll probably see her on Perfect Match. Oh, man. I think we're going to see almost all these people.
That's what I feel like this entire cast is going to go on Perfect Match, except for Megan, Jordan, and
the respectable people. Yeah, I think we'll see. Well, Joe has a girlfriend right now, but who knows how long it's gonna last. But I do think
people go on Perfect Match with girlfriends, so it's not as serious as like.
I could see Anton not really being on that show either. I don't really know what he would get much out of it. He's also kind of, I mean, he ain't my cup of tea. But Allie will definitely be on it. She's this season's Jessica. Like she'll be on it. Yeah. I mean, I have so many issues with her this reunion as well. I didn't even care much about her during the season, but once the reunion, I was like, okay, I don't like her now. But
should we just get into that?
We can get into whatever. I think this is a free for all right now.
Yeah. This is actually the picture that I have for them. And that's it. So
Yeah, they
This
like
is
to throw this at the end. We were thinking almost that it was for perfect
I
match,
was
but
too.
now I realize that it was to show me the moment that she wasn't interested in this man anymore, which is when he wore those flirts with the open
Yeah.
toe. What did you
Yeah.
do? You want to wear socks with it? Like, I don't know.
I feel
Also,
like that's
here in
such a
Mexico,
yes. No socks in Mexico. No. If my man was wearing socks in Mexico, I would get the ick from that. Like,
well,
let your
and
toes out. I don't know what the weird thing is with like, oh gosh, I feel old right now, but like younger people, kids these days with like men showing their toes, like unless that you have gangrene, like you can show your toes once in a while. Like I understand not like women walking around with open-toed shoes all day long, but
mhm,
you are at the beach. That is where it's appropriate to wear your sandals with no socks. I don't like sandals and socks, and that's probably not a popular opinion these days, but I think those that looks ridiculous. Now, do I want to see men's little toes walking around at Kroger when they put their slides on? No. So wear your damn socks. But I would
on the
prefer you to just wear
beach
shoes.
in Mexico, yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't expect men's feet to be beautiful. I expect
Right.
some weird things down there. My husband does not have beautiful feet, but
Neither
it's
does mine.
actually an insecurity of his. And it might even be an
Same.
insecurity of Anton. So if I were to go on television and be like, well, that was my ick, was my husband's feet, that man wouldn't talk to me for weeks.
That is the first thing that I thought about when I heard her say that. And I know she said lightheartedly, and she wasn't able to explain the real reason. So I don't know, maybe there's more to the story, but as soon as I heard that, I was like, she's gonna give this poor man a complex about his feet. Like you said, men's feet are already they're that men like there is a couple of things on men that are handsome, otherwise they don't groom themselves very much. They got hairy legs and all kinds of stuff going on.
I
That's not
can
what
see
it
where that would be an ick for her if she had the same fetish that Edmund did about like putting feet in her mouth. But I've never seen anyone else really doing that. So I don't see why anyone's feet matters to you. But I
it's
honestly
true.
am of the like, if that was your moment, even lightheartedly, if that was your moment of I don't want to, whatever, she should have just broke it off then because she wasn't attracted to him. You could kind of tell she's going through it to
Mhm.
get through it. She even made it to the wedding. She didn't bring up things that bothered her, like much of the drinking, the stripper thing, whatever. Didn't even bring it up. And I was so mad at
I know.
Netflix for not showing us the conversation that they had. But the fact was that they didn't even have the conversation. I,
And she was so vague about it. It was like, oh, well, I couldn't really remember, or we were working nights. And I understand that things were probably overwhelming and you guys were probably exhausted, especially working nights and filming. That sounds pretty dreadful. But she went on and on and on to other people about the strip club thing, to the confessionals, to us talking about how big of a deal it was to her. It was like that was almost as big of a deal as the drinking to her. So I don't
oh,
know
yeah,
how it just slipped her mind. She was never
it
going to marry
doesn't.
him. She wasn't attracted to him. Literally, me and Anne's conversation this morning in text
Yeah.
message. Like, I wish I could plug my phone in and pull it up because it was like me. She was never going to get married to him. And yeah, she was never attracted to him in the first place. Like,
You could
it's just a
tell.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a way to get on Perfect Match. I know a lot of this, they're like auditioned for that.
Yeah.
But I can see Annie not remembering things because that woman was plastered almost the entire time. But you guys were filming a TV show for the first time in your lives. You want to act like you don't remember it? Like you don't remember what happened during it is
I can't
insane.
remember. I can't remember what interview who said this. I think it was Sparkle Megan said this. She did an interview on AD's podcast right after the reunion, and it wasn't the greatest interview, but she did let us know that the production told her that this cast was the only cast that they had to take alcohol away from multiple times because they were all
I
way too
bet.
drunk
I bet.
multiple times. I guess they
I
had to do it at least once in some of the seasons, but they did it multiple
I
times.
honestly wish they wouldn't even feed it to these people because if you're going to make a decision like getting married, I think you should be kind of sober for it.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's a reality show, and I can't imagine that people like you're going to Mexico. You're doing vacation
I get
vibes.
that
Like
part
you
of it. I
also
just wish it wasn't like fed to them. Have it available,
yeah,
sure, but like the way that I feel like it's being fed to them and the way other cast members have come out in lawsuits and have said that it was getting fed to them, like they weren't getting
right.
water, they were getting
Especially in the
vodka.
pods. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially in the pods. I think the pods should be a probably a pretty sober experience. Yeah.
right. Everything after that, I don't care. But I mean, and I don't
Yeah.
even think like Anton, I mean, I think he had a problem with lying about where alcohol was going, but I also think he's Russian and Russian people drink. So it's hard to know the middle ground of that. But I do think that he had a slight drinking issue, but that wasn't brought up during the reunion. Nothing was brought up during the reunion of any substance that made me want to watch it. I was just getting more and more irritated by the fluff and the nonsense. And Allie girl over here with her fake titas and her tattoo between them hates strippers. Like, okay, girl. Maybe
Did she say that?
no, but you could see her hold titas at the damn reunion. So it's like you think you'd be a little bit more conservative if that was your opinion. She says she thinks it's disgusting when men go to strip clubs and stuff, which I mean, I'm not a fan of that really either, especially if you're engaged or whatever. Like I think it's kind of tacky, but I'm not high and mightier than thou. If these girls need to do that, that's what they need to do. Like, I don't give a crap. I mean, I'm not going to judge somebody for their past of them going. Like Anton said, most
I
men
think
have at
she's
least
more
been
concerned
to
about
one.
Anton than she is about the stripper. I mean, the strippers are just there. That's just the environment. I think she's more concerned about
It was all a
a
ruse
man of his
anyways.
caliber
Oh, his
going there.
caliber. It was all a
Yeah,
ruse
you know what?
anyways
I
because
know
she wasn't interested.
plenty of men, especially when I worked in country clubs around men who have money that they would love to give to people who are pretty, that love to hang out in strip clubs, that love to,
Mhm.
what's the difference really between a strip club and somebody, finding a girl on Instagram to take
Yeah.
on vacation with it? I mean, really, like you're just spending money to look at a woman or women. What's the difference? She would rather, though, a man of his caliber just do it that way, the dirtier
Make,
way, the private
make it
way.
make sense to me.
At least at a
I
strip club, it's some damn rules and regulations over here.
make it all make sense to me, honestly. I I
No,
just
I
she just
cannot.
seemed like one of those that was a plant, just like Jessica, the one with the kid or
Mhm.
whatever was a plant to me as well. It's like a Netflix plant. Like she's super pretty.
It's
We could
also
probably put her on other shows,
it's a little
whatever.
suspicious to me now that you're saying that too. I don't know why this just popped in my mind, but I haven't seen her doing any interviews. Have you? I haven't seen any,
Not really.
nothing with her. Maybe she's currently filming.
Yep.
Well, she was just in the reunion, but maybe I don't know. Said she was going to talk to him later about it and never did. Yeah, I think they showed a deleted scene or something where it was brought up like amongst her friends, like with his lifestyle
But
choices
she
and
never
his
brought it up.
eating.
She did say to him at that dinner, "Oh, you're in trouble." And then
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
if I'm saying that to a man in front of especially other people at the dinner table, best believe once we get in the car, I'm
Mhm.
telling him what he's in trouble for, especially if you're gonna be like, well, not gonna talk about it here, we'll talk about it later. It's coming up
I'm
later.
not
Like
oh yeah. I'm not a fan of arguing in public, but like this also doesn't have to be an argument. I feel like depending on the circumstances, I would have wanted to bring it up at the table because here you have all the involved parties right here right now while this information is coming out. Why not sit down and come back from the bathroom and say, I mean, you don't have to start a big argument, but say like, hey, I learned that you two men like to go to
mhm.
strip clubs. Is that something you plan to continue to do? Or because, and then you can share to both of them at the same time. So it's very clear what your boundaries are, that I don't want that. And then there's no going back and forth of, oh, well, my friend didn't know and he convinced me. No, you all know that it's disrespectful to me. And if you do it, I feel disrespected. Why was that not directly addressed right there? I mean, it could
And
have
it
been
seems
so
like he
easy.
didn't even know about it until it came up like when he was watching the season. Like he had no
Yeah.
idea that that was even what was told to her.
Yeah, I love how he responded to that. So he's like, "That was nasty work by her." Like it was. It
It
truly
was
was,
so
especially
weird.
knowing she only met him twice. User Alien says that she needed something to latch on to not marry him, so she didn't let him explain himself. Yeah, I think so. I don't think again that they were really going to get married or very attracted to each other. We didn't see really any of these couples like touching
Yeah.
each other, loving each other, intimate with each other. I mean, just 2 seasons ago, we were having some spicy, steamy shower scenes with almost every single couple, and these people you could barely see them in bed,
No one was really
in their
attracted to
pajamas.
each other, honestly, it felt like. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, uh, Joe and what's her name were effing, but they
They
were
were
not
effing.
they weren't, like, loving on each other. They were just, like you
Yeah.
said, effing and effing. Fighting
Well,
and
let's go
effing.
back to one of the bigger show wasters, Casey and Patrick, because they brought them out pretty quick, like pretty much right after Sparkle Megan announced her pregnancy. I really think they should have went through the whole original cast before they brought out the side people
I
because
agree.
it just really took a lot of time. I know that Casey's like intermingled with all this, so I get that, but I just feel like they brought them out really early. But it became this big like tit for tat thing. I think she did need to give him an apology for how she handled it and kind of made everyone look silly on TV. I mean, the way she was jumping all over that man, the way she just wasn't, at least Shayna was kind of honest, like, I can't really do this. And then she tried when they went back and then it just didn't work, whatever. But you could tell she wasn't attracted to him either, that Kyle guy or whatever, gave him back his ring, whatever. I don't understand the whole thing with this ring. Netflix pays for the rings. So I don't know
I'm
why.
so glad that Allie brought that up too, and you could tell she hesitated, like, she wasn't sure if she was allowed to say that or not, but I'm so
It's
glad that
out
she brought that
there.
up because yeah, we all know that, and so I'm glad
Yeah.
that that was introduced in the conversation because
Mhm.
otherwise they would have tried to do this whole back and forth about the money, and as soon as she said that, it was like, "Okay, we can cut the money thing out. Now you wanna act like it's about principle and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. You can ask for an apology, you can do, whatever you would like, but this is so stupid. Nobody here is out anything. You all signed up to do this.
Right. And you're not getting the full resale value of those rings anyways. It's not gonna happen.
And
You
to
can
think, I
repurpose a
mean, I don't
diamond,
know.
sure. But
Do you think,
I
kind of looking back, especially with the basketball game that happened, I mean, do you think the whole thing was set up? Like Netflix asked her to bring the ring to give it back, and then they played the stupid basketball game over this ring?
would I would I be surprised? No. The way that they pressured that whole basketball, like, oh, it's for the ring. And then Patrick's like, sure, whatever. Like,
He did
and
not
then
sound like he was down for that either. Like, I think
he just
I
kind of was
think
like,
that
sure, whatever. Like, I don't think he planned on actually giving it back to her, which is why he went right straight back to his seat. And then Vanessa
right.
Lachey, of course, is like, the ring, sir. Like, oh my God.
I
It
do
was
think I have a
cringy.
picture.
If she wanted to give the ring back and she felt bad or whatever, honestly, just let her do it. I mean, he'd be the first man of this whole show to actually get to keep the ring. Let him have it. Whatever. I don't
They
care.
were
He
gonna
seemed like
give
a
that
nice
ring
guy.
to production before they gave it to him. I think the Lachey's never wanted that man to have that ring.
They asked
Patrick definitely
production.
wanted the ring back for petty reasons. He just didn't want her to have the ring. I completely agree. And I think as soon as she gave her apology, which was fake and forced, but whatever, as soon as she gave her apology and gave the ring back, he recognized right away, like, there is absolutely no point for this effing ring to be sitting in my pocket. And so I think that's why he let it
Yeah.
off, semi easily back to her. But he certainly didn't want to. If there was no basketball game involved, he would have taken that thing right back. He even
Did
said, "I'll
anyone
give it back to you after Denver." Like, what a weird man you are, sir.
well,
You're
because
just
she
trying to
said
hang out with
because she
her
said when
again.
we get back to Denver, we'll try again. I kind of
I
clocked that.
know, and
He
that
kind
was
of
his way of,
yeah.
like, controlling it. And I'm sorry,
Hmm.
but if you have to control anyone to be with you, that's not your person. I don't care what you think you have to do. Like, she will come hang out with you in Denver if she wants to. And
Oh, they've
that
already
is
been hanging out in the same group settings, pool
right.
parties, and
They
all
don't,
types of stuff. She could have
yeah,
given
this
the ring
girl
back a
doesn't
million
want him.
times. I honestly think her even bringing the ring to give back was also performative, just like Nick's apologies, because she could have given this man that ring back or whatever many times. I'm sure it came up at the pool parties. I'm sure after a couple drinks, he was screaming,
The
"I
pool
want
party
my
where
ring
Casey
back."
is over there crying about a whole nother man in front of you, Patrick, and you are completely oblivious. So please do not be so dense as to believe that Casey wants to have a relationship with you a year and a half later. No.
Yeah, I thought that so much time was spent on this stupid ring situation, and I don't even think anybody asked him straight out why he wants the ring back.
On principle, that's what he said.
Well, principle, but what does that mean
But
to
the
him?
thing is about
Like,
principle, if you didn't buy the ring, if you are not out something, then what principle are we talking about here? Because
that's what I'm trying
the
to
ring
figure out. Like,
belongs
did
to
he
nobody.
pay a difference? Did he get her a more expensive ring and pay a difference? Like, that's what I wanted to know, is what he meant by like on principle. Like, what does that mean to you? Is it just because in the normal world where you buy a girl a ring and it doesn't get to the marriage part, she should give it back? Is that
I
what you
think
mean?
that's what he's
Because
talking
this
about.
isn't the
And
normal world. This is not the
Yeah.
normal world. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that it should be laid out to these guys too. Like maybe they just don't understand, and it should be laid out to them when they are picking these rings that, hey, if it doesn't work out, she can keep the ring. Because I think
this
it
is a
was
gift, period.
it
Like,
is a gift.
even in real life, it's a gift. Even when you are out something, it's a gift. I don't think
Yeah.
women should be keeping their engagement rings if they don't get married. But I also think that there's a lot of men who maybe screw you over in the engagement process, and you're like, I'm
That's what
gonna
I'm
keep my
saying.
damn ring.
It's
It's a
situational,
gift
I
that
think.
someone gave you.
Mhm.
Period. Once you give it to someone, it is theirs to do whatever they want with.
Who is Natalie from season 2? She had the ring for a while, and she finally asked production, like, what do you want me to do with this? Like, should I send it back? And they said, no, you keep it. Like, we don't need that, whatever. I mean, Netflix is a multi-million, billion, whatever dollar company. They're not worried about these like $5,000 rings, I'm sure. So I think it was such a weird kind of petty thing to hold on to. But I think if I was Patrick, and maybe part of it why he came on, maybe it was something he just started saying recently online when the season aired, because of how silly she made him look as well. Like, it could have just came, like, I doubt this whole time he's been like pining for that ring back. I mean, I know he texted her about it, like, oh, can I get the ring back, whatever. She said no. He probably just let it go at that point. But then when he saw what she was saying to production and then the way she was jumping on him, then he probably got it all brought up again. Because, I mean, that's a hit to the ego, honestly. Especially when he said in the pod that is such an insecurity for him that once, she sees him, that she's not going to be attracted to him because he's Asian. And that's exactly what happened. But
did you see
I don't know.
he posted an Instagram with the like the end of that Drake song where Drake says, "And I want my ring back"?
You should have just, before, I would not have let Vanessa Lachey take that ring out of my hands. Been like, you know what, Vanessa, sit your ass down. Ask somebody about if they're having a baby or not or something, and leave me alone for the rest of this episode, okay? Like, I did my part. I played your stupid basketball game, which was literally here to ruse me out of a ring. No one else is doing challenges.
Look, you guys. Hang on, let me turn it up. What?
Oh, yeah,
leave me alone.
Isn't that old?
It's the end of a Drake song. It says just
no, but I
mean,
mean,
my
like,
ring back.
I swear I've seen that like photo of him going around of him looking just like that. So I don't know. Is that an old video?
No, it's new. Where did you? What did you say? You swore you saw what?
Like a screenshot of him and like that. But I don't know. I don't know how many shirts that man has. But either way, I think that maybe we're also spending too much time on this ring thing. But I just think it was so silly, the whole thing. And also him demanding the apology. Like, I get what he was trying to say. I think he was trying to
move on
and move on from the subject and try to help her with, because people are coming at her about how she handled that. And I think she could have been more graceful. She wanted to find anything to throw at him, like, well, I was just a further distant second, like, whatever. Like, lady, like he said, have you not watched the show before? People have multiple connections. I mean, for Sparkle Megan, Jordan was the third on her list, and she
I
ended up
know.
getting proposed to him too. Just what
Yeah.
happens, lady. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I thought that she was also really didn't make herself look any better, and the way she was arguing with like the audience snickering and Jordan kind of snickering, and she's like, I don't know, everyone's telling me how I feel about Joe. Like, what do you
The
mean how she?
problem
What do you mean? You were
the
I
problem
Joe
that
is
I have with her, and I
ICK
think that
within
the
2 weeks.
audience right. I think the audience is upset, and I'm upset with her because she cannot just take accountability for one single thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime someone says, "Hey, this is what you did," and that hurt my feelings, all she does is throw back, well, this is what happened. It's nice to get some more information because it does seem like they went tit for tat a little bit on TikTok and whatever, and that Patrick, probably isn't as nice and well mannered as he presents himself to be all the time. But just say, sorry, I left you. Like, I completely agree with his whole demand of an apology because I think he
Yeah.
wanted to move on. Like, we all want to move on. And the woman doesn't have much of an IQ.
No, it was hard. It was hard to watch her try to defend herself. I'm not gonna lie. And Blue said also, wait, also her dating Joe and Brennan shows how little she cared about Patrick. Yeah, I mean, she dated everybody else on the cast. I know that the whole cast dates, but she
Mm-hmm.
went from one
Yeah.
to the other, and it seems like she was pretty torn up about Joe. I think she got left by Joe. Like Joe was like, you know what? Not this lady. I found a
Mm-hmm.
new
I think she
lady.
was demonetized.
She was. She was. User Alien said she never cared about Patrick. She wasn't attracted to him and had a boyfriend. That's another thing. Why did this boyfriend not get brought up? I think that was like the thing when I was watching this originally that
That
got me
was when
so
you
pissed
lost
off.
it when you were texting me. It was like this long.
I was so mad because all of this, all of these questions, right? And if we're gonna go at her, but she is the villain of this season, go at her. But we're not even gonna bring up the fact that she mentioned a boyfriend convincing her to go on reality television shows. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry, wasn't it the dude with the eye drops or whatever that they vilified because they were like, oh well, he was only here for TV show or whatever. Are you kidding me? I can't stand the way that they treat the men over the women. Like they'll just try to vilify these men and then they have a woman villain in front of them and they do not
Uh-huh.
even push. They don't even
Right.
push.
Yeah. I mean, the difference in the way that they treated Joe versus Casey, and literally both of them dated the entire cast and acted pretty much the same exact way. We're not here on any kind of serious terms or matters. But yeah, they really drilled in and asked Joe all kinds of questions that they just let Casey kind of get away with quite a bit.
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. She was able to vaguely just be like, well, there was somebody I was seeing. It might be on this couch in front of me.
So weird too. Like,
Just get it out. Let it out.
yeah.
This is the one time, like, this is what pissed me off about this is the one time we're going to hear from these people. So be as candid as possible. I don't care whose feelings you hurt, and neither should Nick or Vanessa Lachey. They're never really going to see these people again. Maybe Nick will at Perfect
Well,
Match. But why does it matter what questions that they ask them? Like,
true. I think I kind of disagree with that a little bit. I think podcasts and, you know, YouTube and things like that
I
is
mean,
so
all
popular now.
together. I mean, all
Yeah,
together. Like, that they're going to be
right,
able to, like, sit there all together in the same room and one person says something and the other person can actually be like, well, no, this is how it was. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
actually have that back and forth. I know they're going to
right.
do
Where
other
they're present.
interviews, but I just mean like with everybody there, everybody watching, because not everybody goes and
Mhm.
watches all these podcasts with these people. I mean, Joe
No,
has a
agreed. Yeah,
podcast. So this
right,
is like the one time to actually get it out to like their audience,
right.
and they always drop the ball. So I'm done with the Lachey's. Like, oh my God, is there a new petition going out? Because I will sign it. Because I remember there was a
I
year
know
with a
they kind of
petition.
redeemed themselves at one point during the petition, so we probably should do another petition just to,
We need a new one.
shape them back up a little.
Yeah, we need a new
Definitely.
one.
Should we address Sparkle Megan's baby real quick?
Yeah, I mean, although we kind of knew about Sparkle Megan's baby a while ago
Like
because
a
of,
week. Yeah.
at least, yeah, because of the photos that came out and whatever. I did see that her new man's is like a CEO and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
People were also
Which
thinking that it was her
obviously
best friend's
because
man's, but that's not. They don't look like the same guy to me. But these whatever.
I thought I saw something about that too, but I thought I saw that that was a rumor. But
Kind of
I'm
debunked.
sorry, that man is not my cup of tea.
She lost a lot of hair switching from Jordan to that man, but whatever. I don't know anything about him, so there's not much I can say about him other than obviously it was a lifestyle issue for her and not a kid's issue because she got very easily pregnant and she dated. I mean, her timeline's just crazy. You end things with
I mean,
Jordan
I
in
don't think she
April.
planned
No, but I don't think she did anything to prevent it. Um, she ends things with Jordan in April, and then she's goes on a date with at least with Blake, or vice versa with this Blake and Matt
that.
guy, and then
Uh-huh.
dates this guy, and within 3 months is pregnant and has the
Yeah,
baby before the reunion, and this
I know.
baby's a few months old. So it's like,
I know. 2 months, but yeah. I know. I was shocked by that timeline too. Every time they kept asking her about like, oh, so you circle back to this guy, you circle back to this guy. She'd be like, yeah, so 2 weeks after that ended, then I did this. And she'd be like, so 3 weeks after that. And it's like, girl, do you take any time just to go to Aspen by
she's
yourself?
got
I mean,
too
geez,
much
act like
time to herself because of all that money she's got. She got too much time.
yes, yes. And within the course of 3 months, she went from Jordan to Mike to Blake to her baby daddy and had a whole baby. It's I mean, not the whole baby part in 3 months, but yeah, got pregnant with the whole baby. If she was anyone else, they would call out that behavior. I also think, I mean, just to play devil's advocate, I guess, or just to stick up for her a little bit, I think she was one of the only people who came on the show wanting to actually get married and ready for marriage and ready to be an adult and move forward. I think the lifestyle
Yeah.
issues were a problem for her, but I
Mhm.
do think she was in a position where she wasn't that heartbroken afterwards, and I don't blame her for that. It was a 3-week experience. It was intense, but she moved on. She was ready to date. She had two other candidates of people she was considering marrying. So I don't blame her for going on those dates and trying those things out. I think she moved too quickly to have a baby, but I think she was ready for this phase in her life. And I'm sorry, we all know when we're this age, like you don't have a year or two to heal and have fun again. Like you if you want to have a family, you gotta keep dating.
I can see that, but I can also see where it's like, girl, moving, pretty fast there.
It is,
Like,
but
girl.
I'm not gonna shame her for that. Like that is her life. I'm personally not. I think good for her. Like if this is what you want in your life is to find your person. I mean, you did that very quickly, and you should not have chained yourself with a child. You should have done that, maybe with the ring or something. But I'm not gonna hold that against her. She wants to have a family. Like, what else are you gonna do other than keep dating?
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm kind of more annoyed with like the fact that I think Jordan was just like perfectly fine for her, but what she really wanted was this like somebody who could match her money wise. And I think
And
she
she
didn't
didn't.
really think about that through in the pods where she could have had a better connection with somebody who
I
could
think
give that.
she thought that she could have dealt with the lifestyle change, and then as soon as it was real life and it was in front of her, she realized there's
Mhm.
absolutely no way.
Yeah.
And I don't. Yeah, I think that that's kind of funny, to be honest. Like
I was more mad at Nick
she's just
Lachey for acting like he didn't know things that, I was more like, oh, okay, like this is just corny at this point. Like, oh my gosh, what? Well, we have some photos. Like, shut up. Just
I
say,
know.
like, just let her announce her news. Let the rest of the cast that doesn't know react to it. I don't need to see Nick Lachey's fake acting. I mean, that's why he hosts shows and he's not in anything substantial in his life.
That is
Like,
true.
Jesus
That is true.
Christ.
I do think the cast was surprised, or maybe I'm just really gullible.
Some of them were, I think. She must have really been hibernating, honestly. But because
I
the
think
paparazzi were able to get, or somebody was able to get shots of her before the reunion even aired, of her in the sky and
so.
this
I
baby.
heard that there were rumors going around that it was what's his name's baby, that scammer guy that she was also. What's his name?
Uh, Mike.
Mike. I heard there were rumors going around that it was Mike's baby. And my suspicion is that as soon as those rumors were going around, then she went in
Hmm.
public willingly and knowingly with this man and her baby to set the record
Right.
straight in that way. Because she probably has an NDA she can't say. But if she
Yeah.
accidentally goes out in public, she can at
I would
least.
want to clear that air too, probably. I'm not gonna lie.
I definitely would. But I'm sure the show played a hand in her keeping this pregnancy a secret. I can appreciate that she probably did want to have a private life and everything as well. But, she said that phones were taken away at her baby shower. That is a production thing. That is not I'm a
Yeah, oh,
regular
absolutely.
girl.
They didn't want this stuff getting out that far, because, well, for one, I mean, honestly, at that point, nobody knew she was going to be on the show. But I still think that, that they probably still had to do that in case once the show comes out, these people want to start sharing these photos and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm glad that her and Jordan were pretty cordial, at least. It seemed like they were able to at least speak about this whole baby situation beforehand, because like he said, if he found out then and there, it might have been a little hurtful, especially with what he
Yeah.
went through with her and trying to could tell her like, yo, kid's gonna change your life. You should have thought about that. But I didn't like her little like tears about, yeah, that hurt when he said that I shouldn't have met Luca. Like, girl, it's just understandable. Like, I would have felt the
Yeah,
same way if I was him, especially in that moment as well.
agreed.
And I'd still
Especially her
stand
being
by
a
it.
mom now. Agreed.
Yeah,
It's like
I
the love and how much you want to protect your own child now more than anything you've ever
mhm.
known. And in that moment, even at the reunion, I feel like she was being selfish in her perspective and not able to see Jordan's perspective, and that you just broke Jordan's heart on that couch when you broke up with him. And then he literally had to drive to his son's school and break his son's heart. That is why
Yeah,
he did not want to. He regretted introducing you to him because he now has to upset his son. And I do think Jordan, and they did talk about this, Megan and AD, in her podcast. So you could check that out if you want to. But Megan says she's not really sure, and maybe it was a bad idea for Jordan to be so upfront with his son about who Megan was. And I agree with that as well. You
yeah.
can
Like,
introduce your
this is
son
a
to
friend.
somebody as a person, as a friend, as somebody who's really special to me.
Sure.
Apparently, he introduced his son as, this is Megan. We're going to get married. She has a ring on her finger. She's going to have our last name and we're going to live together. That's what Megan says he told his son. And
Yeah,
that is
I
a
think
lot.
that is a lot. It's very forward, especially for a 5-year-old. And I mean, I it's very bold too, being on a show, Love is Blind. I do think that people need to be more careful when they bring kids into this situation. I think in a normal, like really good parent, a lot of times you don't introduce kids for months upon months to somebody
Right.
until you're very sure it's stable and stuff, because you don't want to get them involved in that way, whether they get attached or they don't like them or whatever. But I know this is more accelerated, but I do think he and the baby mom, like, I'm glad that they involved the baby's mother and
Yeah.
that she was able to like have a say in that, because I'm telling you, if it was me, I probably would have been like, maybe not. Like, I know like you guys might meet, but I would have some rules just like that. Like, you can
Right.
introduce her, but she's your friend, because we don't even know if this is
Yeah.
gonna pan out. And
Right.
like you guys can, instead of like a sleepover, you guys can just go to the arcade together, play some games, and it's not gonna be a full blown
I think a sleepover was
play.
a good idea, but I get being like, no. I could see that either way,
I would
totally.
probably say
But I do think it was important um, for Megan if they really were considering getting married, which it seems like Jordan really thought that they were going to, for her to see what it's like to have a kid that has that kind of health situation, waking up every couple of hours,
right.
needing assistance and things like that. Like that was, I think, part of what actually kind of scared her a little bit. And if that scares you, that scares you. That's your choice to make. So
Right.
yeah, this woman though, before we walk away from her, and before we do that, Anne has stuff to do today. So we have to end or wrap up probably in like 10 to 15 minutes. So if there is
Yep.
something pressing that you all want us to talk about before we leave today, please drop it in the comments now, or we will probably just move on to whatever
Right.
feels right in the last little bit. But please let us know and we will talk about it for sure. But we only
Yes.
have a little bit of time left. But
Yes.
this woman, Megan, had the audacity in AD's podcast. AD said, "Is there anything you wish they would have shown that didn't get shown?" You know what she said? The meeting with Luca. Are
Oh
you
my God.
stupid? Are you stupid?
That should never be shown.
It should never be shown.
Honestly, and Jordan's smart to not even put his face on his public, Instagrams and stuff right now. It shouldn't be shown. That kid does not need to be involved like that. That's just messy,
No.
messy, messy. And as a
Especially when there
mom
was all that
now,
stupid misinformation about his diabetes and everything. Like, we don't need to put a face to all that misinformation that people are spreading because
no,
they
that's
think
just
they're entitled to
crazy.
information that's on
His
TV.
name's already out there, and that's enough. I mean, I probably wouldn't even
I
use the
know.
real name, to be honest. If I
Yeah.
was Jordan, I
Right.
probably wouldn't have used his
Right.
real name. But whatever.
Yeah.
Moving on, because we still have at least, I think, 2 other people to talk about. We'll start with like
Mhm.
Edmund and KB because I really don't have a ton to say about that other than did find it convenient that Edmund forgot everything again. But this was just another like we've seen this all season with them where she comes in with like, oh, this is what happened, and I'm going to tell you everything that happened, when it happened, what time it happened, what day it happened, what the sun looked like. And then he's like, oh,
She had it
well,
all written down in her little boob receipts.
honestly. And it wasn't like bad. I mean, I do appreciate how much she's grown. And I think she realized that she was just bringing her work home with her. But I did also feel
Yeah.
bad for Edmund during that wedding episode. I think he's also still like kind of immature and almost childlike in a way. Like, I know that's probably got to be ADD as well. I think every man on that couch that was sitting on the couch together had some form of ADHD. But
I think you're right. Yeah, definitely. But he is emotionally stunted. He is
Yeah.
not, he does not act his age, and that's not an immaturity thing because I think he's actually really resilient and quite wise as far as the life experiences he's been through, but he's just stunted. Like, he's just permanently emotionally 6 years old. And I mean, KB tries to bring this up in a way, she says it a couple of different ways, and he just denies it so much. So, and maybe he's like disassociating or something when he's crying like this all the time. But I mean, we all saw it on TV. It was filmed, it was recorded. Like, she's not lying, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah. And I also
Men
think
can't.
that she was having issues with him off camera of he'd be one way and then on camera a different way. I could see that a lot too because she did always look upset with him about something. And I just think
I'm
this
glad we got
wasn't
more context to when they moved in because that just made me laugh. That was actually the only thing that I felt like I learned from these two at the reunion was that right when they moved in, when he got into the cupboard and all of that, and she was looking already like she wanted to kill this man, it was because on the way in, he was being so annoying. He was annoying other cast members. And then she says that he
neighbors.
like
It probably was just normal people living in the apartment complex.
Right. Oh, yeah, maybe. Definitely. I thought she was talking about like cast people moving in, but it could have been anybody because this man could have literally annoyed anybody. But yeah, then she's like, you got on your knees and was like, I love you. Please don't leave me, blah, blah, blah. And I believe that. This is one thing I don't like, personal pet peeve. If you don't remember something, if you flat out don't remember, don't deny it. Don't deny it. If somebody says this is what happened and you don't remember and you say that's a lie that didn't happen, you're lying just as much as you think the other person is. Just say I don't remember. Just say that first of all. That doesn't mean the other person has to be right. Like, again, he probably would have cried again if she wasn't yelling at him about crying. Like, it was just wild.
Well, then he said she was PMSing all the time. Like, they were trying to he was trying to get a little dig in there. I thought that was funny. And
I know.
I'm not mad at him. I don't think he's ready for marriage. I think he's got a lot of like internal work to do. But I saw them not getting married from a mile away. Pretty much once Mexico hit, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Honestly,
Yeah.
when I saw him galloping away, to do something when they were doing the reveal, I was like, well, I don't know about this, because it was kind of like childlike and stuff. But
It was,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't hate Edmund. I just think that he has a lot of growing to do. And I honestly think KB did at the time as well. I think she thought, she's gonna fix him, and she literally bring her work home with her. I think they
Yeah.
bonded on a lot of things. And like she said, when you're in the pods, you can't see them. So his crying and his being vulnerable was like normal then, but then outside the pods, it was like a little too much. And I can see where
Yeah.
that happened. But I knew homegirl was not going to marry him when she was doing her own makeup, which I know people are like, well, she just learned how to do her makeup, whatever. But I don't care. She did her own makeup before that wedding, so I knew it wasn't really going to happen. But
I
poor
knew
both of
she
them.
wasn't going to get married when she picked that poofy dress. Like, I'm
I'm
sorry,
just
but that
glad
wasn't.
that, yeah, I'm just glad that they were able to have this little moment where they hugged it out, and they respect each other. Can't really say that so much about the rest of what happens between Madison and Joe and everybody else. I don't. There's a lot of drama there
Yeah.
between Madison and Joe, and what happened between them after the engagement and with Casey and everything else, which is why I
Yeah.
think they brought Casey out, was to kind of go through all this. But I wish they would have talked about some of their most iconic moments, like her crying on the balcony. And because, like, honestly, she was kind of, there was a point where I was sick of her too, because she was kind of
Yep.
like Annie trying to fight over stupid shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
why would you say that? Like, she's asking him, like, what do you find difficult about this? He's like, I just so overwhelmed. I'm like, why would you say that? Like, that kind of
I
shit. It was
know.
just like very
I
weird.
wanna know, like, why did Casey and Patrick get a little video montage and we didn't get a video montage of these 2? Because these 2 actually, you know, went further in the experiment than Patrick and Casey
Yeah.
did, and I would have preferred a montage of Joe. And I can't
Him in
hear
general.
you talking over the ocean, Joe. She's crying, like, that is iconic. I will every time I cry, every time I've cried since I've watched that, that pops in my head. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know why,
I
but
don't
just
know if
like,
you've ever woken
it's
up
so good.
before, but like just that whole scene was just, it was
Their
great.
entire relationship, it's just comedy gold. Like,
When I shared
actual
that
gold.
like highlight reel of Joe, pretty much, and like all the times where she was just like to
I
him,
know.
it was just, that
Perfect.
was like most of their relationship, is he would say something, she wouldn't understand what was going on, and
Uh-huh.
then he would say some more word salad, and then she'd be like,
Yeah. She'd get more and more offended. And then he'd be like, "Is there anything in my nose?" Like, it was just crazy. And Blue
Vance.
says Madison wanted a specific answer about why he didn't
Yeah.
want to be with her. She wanted him to say it was because of her body. Yes, I agree. And I think everything that she said to him about what she's been experiencing was completely warranted. And I'm really glad that she brought up that point that,
Yeah.
people will comment on people's bodies either way, but when you bring it into a topic, even if you didn't, decide on that topic, whatever, like, when you make those kinds of comments, you open up all kinds of comments, even for people to give her positive comments about her body and try
Yeah.
to build her up. Any comments about anyone's body
I
after
mean,
the fact like that is hard.
I agree, but I don't think he said anything that terrible. I think he said like,
He
yeah, she's
didn't.
not my typical type. And I usually go with like more, I think he meant like short petite, because that's like what Casey is like short petite,
Yeah,
whatever. And I don't think he meant to shame her. I mean, they were effing. So if he had a huge issue with her body, then he wouldn't have
I
been
know.
effing her, and and whatever he was saying about fighting or effing. So like,
Yeah,
I don't think that was told. I think he was shocked at first. Like, I think at first he was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. And you could
yeah,
tell because in the confessional, he was just, But I don't
Well, and
think
he was
he said
trying to be
anything.
really careful. You could tell even when they talked about it, he was trying to choose his words as carefully as possible. He knew he was talking about something that was sensitive. And I guess that's why I'm like, you probably just shouldn't have been talking about it at all. It's one thing that
Probably
they
not.
had a conversation together about what is your past types, what did you used to look for. But then he went into the confessional and said more. And you could tell he knew he had to choose his words carefully because he was in scary
Right, but
territory.
it makes me wonder what the producers were asking him too, because a lot of times the producers will hear
Definitely.
a conversation like that and they're like, "Oh, you want to expand on this?" And then
Yep. That is exactly what
Joe,
happened. Yes.
Joe is not the
It's
best at
just
expanding on things. I just, I don't know. Like, I get what she's saying though. Like, it would be difficult to already be insecure about something, or not even be insecure about something, and then become insecure about something just because of the show
right.
airing and whatever. She's a
Like,
beautiful
poor
girl. She
Anton and
has
his poor feet.
yeah, exactly. She's a beautiful girl. She has nothing wrong with her. She has a nice
Yeah.
figure. She's I mean, she's got beautiful eyes. I can't believe this lady's
Yeah.
about to go blind, but she has beautiful eyes. And and honestly, I don't know why they didn't talk about that more in this whole season about her about to go blind. I think that would have been,
Really? Because I'm sick of hearing about it. I just feel like it's an
it
eventuality.
was
I mean, she
a
could go blind tomorrow, or she could literally go blind never. So I'm just like,
I don't
okay,
know. I
like
just
it's
feel like that's more of the issue than her body. But um I don't know.
true if we're
I think
talking about like, yeah, committing
actually,
to each other and having a life. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
But I don't think he said anything like crazy. I don't think he said anything like disparaging or anything like that. He didn't he was honest
He
about
chose
it when
his
she
words
asked
carefully.
him.
Yeah.
So it's either you want somebody honest with you, or what do you want him to do? Like, if Joe was kind of in a lose-lose situation with that whole thing anyways, because
Yeah.
it's not like, even with Jimmy, when Jimmy saw Chelsea run into him with her T-Rex arms, he wasn't not attracted to her. And instead he played it off like he was, but he was not. So I think Joe was still like semi like attracted to her. She just wasn't what he was used to. And I think that took him a second because they were effing. Even when she went down
Right.
during their iconic fight where she went to wake him up, he was like, "Oh, look at you. You look ready."
That whole scene is so. I think I'm gonna go back and watch it after this, just because it's so damn good.
You look ready. So I don't
You look
know.
ready.
I get what I get both sides of that. But I would honestly be just upset about the whole Casey thing. Like, she's like, I saw her paws on him. I'd be more mad
Yeah.
about like how they broke up than the body stuff. I think the more you
Right.
play into the body stuff, the more people are gonna comment on it. But
Agreed.
she
I
doesn't
don't
look
like
any
the way
different
that
than Kate sitting next to her. Kate sitting next to her looks pretty much the same damn person.
yes, they look exactly, they're very similar, hair and everything. But I
Everything.
will say I don't like the way that she framed the whole thing that went on between Joe and Casey as if it affected, quote, her engagement. Like,
No.
your engagement is not an individual personal
Right.
experience. You are getting engaged to get married to another person. And I think it kind of showed a little bit behind the curtains of how she was looking at this
Mm-hmm.
situation, that she wasn't really committed to like getting married because she just wanted to have an individual experience. Like,
Yeah,
your
I
stuff affected
this
my engagement. And I'm
this man
like,
had been
okay,
falling apart the whole time, off and on, honestly. And if you didn't
right.
notice that, then you're crazy, or you
And
didn't
that's what
want to
affected
notice
her
that.
engagement with him.
Yeah, because he was falling apart at different areas of this whole entire thing. He was not right. He even warned you that he was putting invitations in a mailbox and decided not to marry somebody. He gave
Yeah.
you full warning that he is capable of just like being done and
Yeah.
removing himself. And at that Tux thing, especially since you had already watched it back at this point, he was falling apart before they even went out that night. He walked
Right.
out of that Tux thing asking if they could interview him tomorrow. It's like, sir, tomorrow's like your wedding. Like, what do you mean? I mean, he didn't want tie a tie. He was fluttering around, couldn't choose a color, he could not think straight. Realized that he was
He's,
actually going to have to get up to an altar. And that was it.
I know. Are people wearing ties these days? He said it was just wild.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Agree. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't think Casey really broke them up, but I don't think she helped. I think that, but then he made out with her at a party and he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." Joe just
Right.
cracks me up. I'm sorry. But
I love it.
he just
I love
he
it.
is the most
Probably shouldn't have been
self-destructive.
making out. Like,
He's
just
so
so many iconic lines.
he's beautifully self-destructive. I can't even be mad at
Mhm.
him. I wouldn't want to date
I
him,
know.
but I could not be mad at him.
I
Um
know. Even
I
Jordan,
was
like, he
mad at
couldn't
him for
even.
wearing those boots. I was like,
Yes.
is those boots under his pants? Like, what is that? Like, why didn't he just wear regular
They're over his.
shoes? No, they were like under his
Oh, there's
pants.
me.
That's right. No, they were like under them.
They're over them. What do you mean?
No, no, I don't think so. I swear I've seen another photo of him and it looked like they were tucked.
Maybe it's both. I mean, it's obviously not very good quality. Maybe it's both.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a horrible shoe choice. So I am mad at him for that. But I thought he was hilarious
Is that an ankle
nonetheless.
bracelet, Jordan? Does
No,
Jordan
it
have
was
an
a
ankle? Oh, it's
tattoo.
probably a tattoo. Never mind. I'm
Hmm.
sure it's a tattoo.
Someone's
Oh,
childhood
10
who
Blue
showed it on
says,
Instagram, but the boots were terrible. They were absolutely
yeah,
terrible. But yeah,
thanks
I
for
mean
that, 10 Blue.
that's the Love Is Blind reunion for me. I mean, they did throw Blake in at the end for no reason, and I thought that was
For Jordan's
completely
birthday.
unhinged. Sure, but he dipped out on us. We haven't seen him since. He didn't go to the
I
cast
know.
party. This was so unhinged to have him bring out an ice cream maker of some sort. I mean, I don't know. I just felt like it was completely weird and unhinged. It's on brand for the Lachey's, so I really hope we can get rid of them next year. But
I think chances are low, but I can empathize with that. Definitely.
I can hope, I can pray.
Yeah.
I can hope.
You can only hope and pray.
Only hope and pray. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this live. If there's anything we haven't touched on, my bad. I got to get going, but we will see you
I think we
next
covered
time.
just about enough. We was here for an hour, and I think it was a good season all in all. I'm
Oh,
happy to continue to watch it. I'm not as excited as I used to be about it. It's definitely a different show than it used to be, but I'm
mhm.
just kind of coming in expecting that. Hope you
Yes.
recap the Kardashians when you get a chance. Thanks, Unblue. We usually do kind of pop on at least once or
Every now and
twice.
then.
Sometimes we're
It kind of depends on what's going on with them because sometimes they're interesting and
yes.
sometimes it's just like watching paint dry. But
Yes, we usually with the Kardashians, we usually don't cover every single episode, but we have popped on a couple of times and just covered like a
mhm.
couple at a time, or just like an
This
incident
should be a
or
more
something.
interesting season, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I have been
But
keeping up. So
keep up. But yeah,
yep,
well, we will consider that for sure. We still are covering Sister Wives and we do our stories of the week also in the meantime. If y'all are interested. And we will be covering the next Love is Blind whenever that happens as well. I mean, just give us probably about 4 more months. We're hoping this next season's finally Detroit because we know there was a casting in May of last year. So very
yeah,
possible that we get a Detroit season and hopefully we might even know somebody. So
maybe
maybe.
possible.
I don't know.
I don't
Brooke, have
know
you been
when
seeing
to
any
apply
Love is
though, but
Blind cameras out in Detroit by an apartment complex of any sort?
no, but I'm really not downtown all that much. So I'm
Okay.
sure I missed it.
Sure. Sure you have. But all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We will catch you next
Thank
time.
you.
Remember to like, subscribe, share, and reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.